I won't ever unnecessarily ask for anything. So if, let's say, I'm sitting in bed and I really want some water and I'm just asking him because I'm lazy and I'm tired, like I don't feel like getting up, I won't ask him to get me water. I'll just get my ass out of bed myself, like the adult that I am, and go get my water. But if I'm sitting in bed and I'm hurt, or I've hurt my leg, or I'm sick or whatever, and I need water, and I ask, can you go get me some water? He'll 100% go and just do it because he knows that I'm not asking unnecessarily.
Okay, so today we have part 2 of my interview with Erica from Mom Break, and she's continuing her talk on relationships after baby. This is a good one because she'll give you actual tips her and her husband use to help them get back on track. Plus, stick around to the end and see how you can start reconnecting with your partner today by getting digital prompts sent directly to your phone.
People all like, you have to be sunny and positive about things all the time, and you don't have to be. Like, you can accept that you're having a tough time, and that's okay, and that will... And especially if it's in a relationship, like if you're in a stage where, or a season where you're having a tough time, that's okay. You don't have to put a sunny, positive spin on it. You kind of accept it, because then you have to do something to deal with it. And that's, I think, one of my biggest tips in regards to relationships is, if you have the resources or the means, then just to get into therapy. Even if things like we've been going to therapy for a long time now, and it's not because we're at the point where it's like, we're both ready to get a divorce, let's just do one last kick at the can and try therapy. But it's because it helps you communicate, and it helps you reconnect and learn who you are. Because when you get to a certain point in the parenting journey, you spent so much time focusing on your kids, you wake up a few years down the line, you're like, oh shoot, darn, I don't really know what our relationship is like anymore. And I think it's difficult, but it's normal. And I found for us, therapy has really helped.
Movies and TV shows, they always show therapy at that like, oh, last ditch effort kind of thing. But it's so healthy to start earlier. And, even single people, younger, because I think it really does help with the communication, help understanding yourself. And we're slowly getting more normalized with it.
Yeah, that's why I go for myself too. It's just a different perspective, and it's a different way of taking a situation. And sometimes it kills me because she'll be on his side, and sometimes she's on my side. I'm like, yes, I was right in feeling that I win. And then I'm like, oh wait, if I win, do we win? And then I get all like that therapy speak in I'm like, oh, she's in my head, but in such a good way.
So you started with tips for managing relationships. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit more. So what are some other tips that you have, whether you've learned it or you kind of have just applied this to your relationship, for managing better relationships after children?
I'm going to put a disclaimer because I feel like I have to. I am not a therapist. I am just a mom of two who have done a lot of therapy and has figured out what's worked in my marriage. So what I did with that is I put out a guide with these 10 tips. So I'm going to give you guys just a few of them, the ones that I think have helped me the most. We have a really clear division of responsibilities in our house. So what we did one day, so that there was no confusion about who's doing what, is we sat down after the kids went to bed. The kids were nowhere around, which I think is important. We don't talk about anything when the kids are awake and around, because it's just like a SHIT show. And we went through and listed out all of the things that we basically do on a daily basis between my husband and I. And we went through the list and split the list in a way that made sense for us and for who wanted to do what. So for instance, silly things like my husband gets up after me in the morning, and I'm obsessed with having the bed made. I'm just one of those people that just like, I need bed health, and like cleanliness is really important to me. He doesn't care about it. So why would he want to make the bed in the morning? But because he's the second one up, he never makes the bed and it never gets made. So I asked him and I said, this is really important to me. Can you make the bed when you wake up? And we put it on his list. And now every single morning he makes the bed because he knows it's important to me. And that's just an expectation we have. Mm-hmm. So it's small, seems a little bit micro nitty gritty, but it's one of those things then if I never have to feel like I'm pushing him or he's pushing me. We just know what we're doing. It's clear, and we just get our stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was one of the big game changers in our house, because then I couldn't get mad at him and say, you didn't make the bed, because eventually he would, because he knows it's on his list. And I don't think it's really ever about what's fair. It's about what works for the family. So like you said, every family is going to be totally different, and it depends on the individuals. Like there's some things that I'm better at and I'm quicker at than my husband, and for him it's the same. So in terms of how much time it takes, it balances a little bit differently. But I think what's important is that for whatever this, and some people work from home and some people work in an office and some people are stay-at-home moms. Like there's no really universal right answer. It's just whatever you both are happy with. Because we went through the list and we said, you know what, are you happy with this? Am I happy with this? Yes, cool, let's bless this and move on. And it changes as we evolve and the seasons change.
Any other tips that you want to share?
I'll give you a few more. There's two that sort of go hand in hand. And one is that if something bothers me, he's made me promise to always tell him. So instead of sitting and stewing on it, I just say, you know, flat out, okay, here's a good example that I think works with a lot of people. I'm not a stay-at-home mom right now, but I was for a long period of time, and now I'm back in the office. So when I was a stay-at-home mom, he would come home from his day job, I would be making dinner, and he would sit on the couch, take a break, check his phone. And in my mind, all I'm thinking is, like, take care of the kids. I've been with them all day. I want nothing to do with them and making you dinner. Don't let them with me. Don't sit on the couch and just sit there. Hang out with the kids. Take them away from me. But I never told him it was bothering me that he was doing that. I would just sit in the kitchen while the kids were bothering me while I was making dinner, and sitting there being like fuming. It's like, this is making me so mad, which isn't fair to him, because he's a wonderful human who doesn't know that I'm sitting in the kitchen, like ready to pseudo stab him. And so one day I just said, like, look, this is what really bothers me. This is what's happening. He said, oh, I didn't even know that this was bothering you. I was just doing that because I have a hard day at work and I needed to decompress for a few minutes. Like, oh, now I feel like kind of a DICK. So now we came up with a compromise, is that he's going to come home. He's going to decompress for a few minutes, and then he's going to tag in with the kids. He takes them downstairs, and I sit upstairs alone and make dinner and listen to a podcast. And it's glorious. Well, I mean, not right now because I'm back at work, but that's what we had decided on. And it was glorious. And it was only because something was bothering me. So I told him. So that was one thing. And then the second one that sort of goes hand in hand is that, so this has been something we've been doing our entire relationship. I have promised him I won't ever unnecessarily ask for anything. So if, let's say, I'm sitting in bed and I really want some water and I'm just asking him because I'm lazy and I'm tired, like I don't feel like getting up, I won't ask him to get me water. I'll just get my ass out of bed myself, like the adult that I am, and go get my water. But if I'm sitting in bed and I'm hurt, or I've hurt my leg, or I'm sick or whatever, and I need water, and I ask, can you go get me some water? He'll 100% go and just do it, because he knows that I'm not asking unnecessarily, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. It makes sense. Yeah.
So it's great, because then pretty much whenever I ask for anything, he knows to do it because he knows that it's important to me. Whereas I'm not just sitting like, go get me this, do that for me, be my servant, ta-da, you know?
And so then tying into managing relationships, you just launched these awesome new like digital prompts. And so kind of tell me more about them, like where the idea came from, and then where people can get them as well.
Yes. So that's actually one of my other tips in my little 10 tips, is that to start doing some sort of love prompts. So about a year ago now, I was just at like Chapters or Indigo, and I found a little paperback book with, I forget what it was called. It was like something love prompts. And it was basically a book with all different kinds of prompts, things like, tell me about why you love me, just all sorts of different questions. And at that point in our relationship, we were just starting to come out of the fog of things. Things were still hard, but we still wanted to work at it. And we still loved each other, and things were good, but we hated it. Like it was that kind of stage. And we started doing it. It was working really, really well. But what I found was, because it was a paper book, we just lost track of it. We have a table in our front hall, and we kept it there with a pen beside it to try to fill it out. And my daughter kept stealing it and hiding it and coloring in it. And we did it for a little bit and it really helped, but it didn't last as long as it could have. So I was thinking to myself, the thing that was the problem there was that not that the actual prompts themselves weren't working, because we love the prompts because it made us start to think about the marriage in general, and just to actually start to think about each other as humans and not just co-parenting roommates, which I feel like a lot of parents slide into. I thought, well, what if I could get an email or a text message with this every day? Because like we're attached to our phones, right? And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to create this digital love prompts and I'm going to, you know, offer it to the Mom Break audience. And it's been so well received. People have loved it so much because what happens is every day, yourself and your partner get a different prompt in your email, and then you reply back to each other with your response. So you don't need to go anywhere, do anything, and you just start to reconnect in a way that's easy and makes sense for the crazy lifestyle that we are living right now. It takes a while to shift, and it's not, dear God, it is not something that happens instantly. Like, don't feel bad if things don't just magically snap back to place, because that like happens for some people, and for you guys, like, good job, magical unicorns, good job. But it's not the norm.
Where can people find your digital prompts if they want to sign up for them?
Yes. So it is at Reconnect in 30, and 30 is spelled with the number 30s.com.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So then every interview I do, I like to end them with a couple of like fun thinking questions, I like to call them, and kind of just give perspective of each mom. So if you could have a billboard made today where you could share one tip with moms everywhere, what would you have it say?
I think it would just purely say, like, you're crushing it. Because I don't think there's one universal tip for, like, everybody's different. Everyone has different priorities and goals and values and lives in different situations. And the one universal thing is just like, you're crushing it. You're doing good. Just keep doing you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Mom Talks with Krista. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. It should be down here somewhere. We release new episodes every single Wednesday. And if you're not following us yet, be sure to follow us at Mommy Knows Best on Instagram. And remember, if you're watching this and doubting yourself, you are a great mom. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week.